Welcome to the presentation on Achilles tendon taping. Generally, you tape the Achilles tendon for tendinitis. So the Achilles tendon is the structure at the back of the lower leg here that connects the calf muscle to the heel bone or the calcaneus. You use this tendon off a lot when you run and walk and jump, but it's also susceptible to bumps. And because of that, you can get a tendinitis. Tendinitis will generally feel like a pain or an aching either during or after activity, or it can feel like a burning sensation. Okay? Now the Achilles tendon, when we tape it, is different than if we taped the ankle joint. When we're taping the ankle joint, we're looking to restrict the movement of the ankle joint to protect it. We don't want to restrict the movement of the Achilles tendon. We simply want to support it and help it do its job. And that means we're going to use elastic tape. The elastic tape doesn't matter if it's 2-inch, 3-inch, or 4-inch. It just matters that it is elastic tape. And that's going to help the Achilles tendon do its job without restricting its movement. Now the position we want to tape in is a neutral position. Okay? You can see from this picture that moving the toes up is dorsiflexion, moving them down is plantar flexion. Okay? This is generally a position that people's foot will be in rest, okay? But we want them to dorsiflex a bit so that their ankle is in 90 degrees. And this is just the best position of function. Now when you're taping the Achilles tendon, it's usually easiest to have the person lie on their stomach on a table or a bed, and then their foot's just hanging over the edge. That makes it easiest for them to maintain this position and gives you full access to their foot and ankle. So the process we're going to start with is the pro-wrap. Remember, pro-wrap simply supports the skin, making sure that it doesn't get cut. It also will protect if they do have any cuts on the skin. It doesn't matter if you start at the bottom or at the top. You're just wrapping around, trying to cover everything. Okay? The next piece we do is the anchors. Anchors are what the tape sticks to, both when we start and then what we put on afterwards to hold it in place. Okay? They don't actually provide a function other than that. So we want one anchor on the foot, and the anchor on the foot is important in its placement. We don't want it right in the arch of the foot because generally we'll put it too tight and that'll cause a cramp in the bottom of their foot. So this is the pinky side of the foot, and if you run your fingers from the pinky all the way down, just past the arch, you're going to hit a bone right about here. And this is the very end of their arch, and this is where you want the tape to come, okay? Because it's going to actually prevent you squeezing their foot together too much. So we want one anchor that goes around the foot here, and then we want two anchors at the top. Now the placement of this is important as well. You don't want it to be where the muscle belly starts coming down. Okay, because as soon as they stand up, if your anchors were here, that tape job is going to fall down. So you need it at the midpoint of the muscle belly or higher. Okay? You're simply going to start at the front, wrap around the back, and back out to the front. What you do want to do when you're doing this, though, is have them contract their calf muscle. So the easiest way to do that is have them simply push their foot into your leg. That's going to make the calf muscle as big as it can be, and you'll make sure then that you don't put the tape too tight. So two anchors, we generally overlap by half, just to have somewhere to have the tape stick. Now we're going to move on to our effective strips. So again, we're using elastic tape, and you're going to work from the bottom of the foot up around the heel and up to the anchors at the top. What you want to do is start the tape here. You're going to pull it and make sure you take all the stretch out of the tape and then let that go a bit so that you've given some of the elastic back, and then you're going to stick it down to the top anchors. You're going to do 2 to 3 strips like that. More strips provides more help for the Achilles, and less strips, less help. Once you've done that, all we need to do is reapply those anchors that we put on. So 1 on the foot and 2 on the leg. The anchors are done with white tape, not elastic tape, okay? And you want them in the same position. Now they're functioning to hold that elastic tape down so that it doesn't roll back up their leg. You can see the whole tape job live on this YouTube video. Now, a couple of different alterations for this tape job. Oftentimes people don't have pain right up the back of the leg. It might be just to the outside or just to the inside. Or they could have both. They could have the back of the leg and the outside, or the back of the leg and the inside. One variation you can do is start the tape job the same way, put one strip up the Achilles, and then do one or two on either the outside or the inside. This simply helps support those tendons that you can see in the white here, which area that is sore. Okay? Now, important notes. If the tape job is getting too tight, the person's going to feel like they're getting a cramp in their calf. This just means that, again, you put those anchors on their lower leg too tightly, so you can simply take those ones off, put them on a little bit looser, and you should be able to reapply the tape that you have. You can play with how many strips you do in each direction and the strength of how taut you pull them. And this is simply going to make your tape job more individualized. Again, more strips, you're going to provide more support to the Achilles. Less strips, you're going to provide less. And the last important thing is to ensure your tape is removed when your activity is done. We never want to sleep with tape on, and we need to give the body a chance to stretch and a chance to relax. The person might also need to put some ice on, so that's a good time to do after activity.